Okay, we are getting controversial today. So, I want to take you back to like a story of quite a while ago. Okay, me and a couple friends are like at the gym, and we're just like waiting for another friend to arrive so that we can go work out. And around this time, the conflict in the Middle East, this was kind of like when I was like not new, but like it was still pretty hype. I think it's like died down mostly, but it's still not. It's still going on actually. It's probably like early May, something like that. Okay. And basically, we just start yapping. We're just talking with each other. And well, by we, I mean mostly me. I kind of guided us to the conclusion. But basically, we kind of conclude what I'm about to yap to you about. Now, just a fair warning, this is a huge yap fest. I've used the word yap so many times. I'm actually speaking Japanese in this video. I'm not even speaking English anymore. I'm like actually polyglot, bro. Okay? So, and just take I want you to take this as my opinion and not immediately as fact. Like just in case I get anything wrong. I have like used multiple sources for this video, and I will like as I'm editing it, I'll be like, is that true? I'll look it up and like, um, if yeah, but just like do your own research. Like this is not just I want you to know this is not just me making stuff up. This is my own. This is like I've done research, and you should do your own. Or if you don't want it, then you don't have to. But just no, I've looked into stuff, and I would like to say that I hate no one. And I do not wish that upon the death of anyone. Okay, and I believe that all Jews and Palestinians are people. I want to point that out. Some people don't like the Jews. Some people don't like the Muslims. I'm not one of those people. I love all people equally because my God does. So I want to give you kind of an analogy of how this all started. Imagine a group of like teenagers walking in a forest, and then they come across a hornet nest. One of the teenagers gets a little wacky, and he's like, hey, what if I just kick this nest? So then he kicks the nest. And then the hornets, obviously they're pissed, they're gonna attack this guy, but then they do more and they start attacking the other friends who did nothing wrong. This is kind of vaguely related to what's happening. But it's also less of like, it's not just these things, just like, ow, that kind of hurts. It's more of like, this guy awakened like an entity that's been like slumbering, like inside of like a statue. And it's like, you dare disturb me in my slumber, and then it goes like ravages the town or something. Like, it's very much the friends are like Palestine. And like, this one friend is kind of like Hamas, which is a terrorist group. And then they kind of attack the Beehive, which is Israel, and they defend themselves. But then they attack more. Then like, they're not just doing self-defense, they are also killing a lot of innocents. But also, it's more like, you dare disturb my slumber because they're like really powerful. Like, they have like $260 billion from the US and like they're getting yet to like planes and bombs and ammunition just to like kill innocents. I mean, not all of them are innocent, obviously. And the thing is, they're both at fault because Palestine started it and Israel retaliated, and neither are going to stop. Like it doesn't matter like you're complaining to a teacher like the teacher like breaks up a fight, and it's like, well, he started it, and it's like it doesn't care who started it. You're both punching people. You're both wrong. Like they're trying to say, oh, but the big guy is wrong. He hit me harder, and it's like equal rights, equal fights, bro. Like I don't care if this guy's stronger than you. You started it. You're both guilty. You know, you committed war crimes. Which we're getting there when we get there. But this kind of like reminds me of like me and my brother fighting. Like in the past, we don't really fight anymore. So basically, what he would do is he would just like hit me, cause I mean, he'd just get like angry over like very little things, or just he'd do it because he's bored, and then I'd hit him, cause I'm like an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, right? Like if he's hitting me, I have to hit him back, and then he's gonna get mad. He's gonna be like, "Did you just hit me?" And then he hits me. And I'm like, bro, did you just hit me? And then I hit him. And he's like, bro, did you just hit me? And then he hits me. And then you can see how this turns into a cycle of endless torment and suffering. And now what actually ends up stopping the cycle is just not retaliating. It's about forgiveness and patience and love. Or telling your parent. But but who's to judge the right from wrong? When our guard is down, I think we'll both agree that violence breeds violence. But like, it doesn't have to be this way though. Now, those first three lines are actually from a song, It Has to Be This Way, Platinum Mix. Um, I don't know. I don't know why I'm making this reference, but it's like, it kind of makes sense. Like, I let myself cook and I ended up making it something like actually makes sense somehow. But, yeah, I like that song. You should give it a listen. So, that's from a video game called Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. And that's like the end song when like you're fighting like the big bad guy. So the plot of the game is kind of there's like this like evil-ish kind of like organization, and like there's like some sort of like war economy where like war is giving them money, so they're getting into the business of war. And there's like a bunch of like human rights violations that these guys are doing, but like they have like a law they made so it's justified, and then they don't see themselves doing anything wrong. Like they do a lot of evil things. Like they're I don't know exactly. Like, there's obviously like murder. There's like kidnapping. There's like probably I think they had something to do with drugs. I don't know. Anyways, your character is writing, and basically you kill bad guys. By the way, I've never played this game. I've just watched other people play it, so I don't know that much about it. Yes, you do. I won't. Anyways, so basically your justification for killing these people is like, well, they chose this life. They deserve to die. I mean, like one of like the bad guys. I mean, there's like robot soldiers you fight, and like actual soldiers that like enlisted, which they're kind of like cops. And like one of like the bad guys, like he literally asks your character Raiden to fight him. Like he literally just like because just like this guy's like he's kind of powerful. Like he just wants to fight someone who like might be kind of strong. And he really like the guy clearly doesn't care about like actually winning. He just wants to fight. Like really, like in the foot, like like his sword is like deflected and like lands in like some ground nearby. He just like he shrugs it off and he starts fist fighting me, like which is stupid. Anyways, but it turns out that these soldiers, they're like innocent children, and they were like kidnapped at a young age, and they were brainwashed into actually being soldiers. And like there were some adults, but like they didn't really know what they got into, and they don't even want to fight. Like some of them have like families. And like it was just like some contract, and that's like they're actually being mind controlled. So like they physically can't control their bodies anymore. They're like they want to turn back. They realize they messed up, but it's too late because like now like they physically like they can't, which that's gonna be illegal. But like they just can't. They can't stop fighting. And then it's become like a more dilemma, and the character gets like a temporary debuff because like one of the characters points out that he doesn't think twice before like chopping these people into hamburgers, right? Like he's just killing people. It just kind of reminds me of like the pointless innocent deaths of like hostages and body shields and like the terrorists hiding in hospitals. Anyways, in the end of the game, Raiden realizes that the big bad guy, Senator Armstrong, was just like him, and Armstrong realizes it too. As he, spoilers, is about to die. Now he's the big bad guy. Of course, he's gonna die. He realizes they're both fighting. Right? They're just like each other. They're just trying to make history. In the game, like Raiden like carved this path out for himself. And so under Armstrong, he was just like he was just like wrathful, just like in like a sword of bloodlust, right? And yeah, like, they're both the same in that way. They both were just like trapped and wrapped, just like killing people. Just because like, oh, you're bad, I need to kill you, right? And it's just like the same way. Like, they're both the same. And like literally so many people have like burned, but like nobody is to blame. Like in the end he stopped the bad guys. And like wow, he's such a cool hero. But also like he killed all of them to do that. Like to finally get peace. And like, hey, there's no more guys fighting me. Because you killed every single one of them. It's like the two sides, they're opposing each other. And like there's gonna cause like it's gonna cause constant conflict until there's only one left. Like it's not gonna end. Now, why did it start? So I've got two biblical I'm gonna show you. So around like I think 1,500 years ago, there's like a guy, and he was like in a cave, and he had like a vision of like an angel who came down and strangled him, and he gave him like a new like book, and that's some like decent teaching. You can know like it was new, it was different from like a gospel that was already preached, right? I was gonna be in jail, what? So and like the mostly novel concepts of this was that there's one God and you should not worship idols, which and that's pretty decent, you know. And you know, the guy he became pretty popular, you know. And this religion he started kind of also became popular, and he kind of spread it for you know like spreading it, and you know just like hey you gotta convert, and then you know if you don't convert then you kind of have because well they have swords and you can assume what happens after that if you don't convert to that religion. Um, yeah, they kind of started the Crusades basically. Anyways, one of the things he kind of said was, I will cast terror into the hearts of those who have disbelieved. So strike them over their necks and smite over all their fingers and toes. Yeah, so this guy, his name was Muhammad, and he wanted to cut off the necks and fingers and toes out of everyone who was like a polytheist, a Jew, a Christian, something like that. It probably says something close to that. I don't know. That quote is from, I think it's from a Hadith, I forget. Or maybe it is, no it is. I copy and pasted it from somewhere, bro. Okay? I don't know why I didn't put which surah it was from. I probably should have. Oh, well, I think I would do that. Anyways, he talks about Cooper 7 were led by his followers. Now, here's a quote from, move the entire page. Here's a quote from the BBC, which is like, I think like the world's most trusted, like, unbiased, factual source. This is like Hamas's mission statement. So Hamas wants to create an Islamic state in place of Israel. Hamas rejects Israel's right to exist and is committed to its destruction. Hamas justified its attacks as a response to what it calls Israeli crimes against the Palestinian people. Now, I'm going to give you kind of a lesson on kind of how it developed. How, like, originally Israel got there, what was there before, and what's going on now. Right? So, originally this was Palestinian land. And I think the name Palestine originates from some Egyptian term, which means to be like a nomad, basically, right? It's basically just a bunch of guys wandering around. And eventually the British do their thing, and they take over this land, because of course they do. They took over literally everything, bro. They took over my country, which is Canada. Originally not British. They took over everything, but that's not what we're talking about. So they named it Mandatory Palestine, this country they made. And there is, kind of a Jewish question going on in, like Europe. You're kind of like, what do we do about these people, right? So they're kind of looking for a refuge for their Jewish people, right? They're thinking maybe some place in Madagascar, maybe like some random place in South America, even some other place of Africa, right? And really all around, they didn't really like the Jewish people. They kind of wanted them out of Europe, you know? So, in World War II, they kind of figured out a solution to that. In Nazi Germany, they kind of figured out, what if we just kill them all? So, well, no, they first, like, isolated them in camps, and then, you know, they slowly got rid of their rights, put them in some camps, and then, like, burned them. You know, so obviously during this time, there's gonna be a lot of immigrants and they have to go somewhere. So they all go to this place in Palestine, right? It's quite like, well, of course it's occupied, but it's not that many people there. Right? So, after it ends, after the war ends, they kind of name this place. Okay, well, we're gonna name it the State of Israel, right? And that's kind of where Israel. That's when it was started as a country. Right after World War II ended, they became their own state. And it was kind of so originally, obviously, I just said that is where British mandatory Palestine was. But there's still some parts that are still Palestine. There's like the Gaza Strip, which is kind of next to Egypt, and it's kind of owned by them. I don't know, it's confusing. And there's the West Bank, which is kind of closer to Jordan. Now the Arabs were kind of pissed off of this. They're like, dude, who are these Jews that are in my land? Get out of here, right? And so like all five countries, like all five Arabic countries around them, just started attacking, right? And then like there was a really short war. There was an armistice next year, right? And after that, and that would have been like 1948, I think, like World War II, right? Like 1949. But in a war in 1967, Israel occupied East Jerusalem and the West Bank, as well as most of Syrian Golan Heights, Gaza, and the Egyptian Sinai Peninsula. Let's go from the BBC. I love BBC. I love consuming BBC. British Broadcasting Channel, I swear. And over the past 50 years, Israel has been building illegal settlements in the West Bank, and over 700,000 Jews live there now. And they're really just trying to like fill that place up with Jews, so they take over. And in 1993, the self-governing Palestinian Authority was actually recognized and fully set up. Now, Israel stayed in Gaza until 2005. Then they left, but they still control the airspace, the border, as well as the shoreline. And there are a number of issues which the two sides cannot agree on. These include what should happen to Palestinian refugees, whether Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank should stay or be removed, whether the two sides should share Jerusalem, and, perhaps most tricky of all, whether a Palestinian state should be created alongside Israel. That's from British Breakfast Channel again. So, in 2006, Gaza held an election for their leader, or like their leading party, and what was elected was Hamas. And in 2007, they took full control. Now, I've already told you about Hamas. And what happens next is, well, what would you expect? It's Hamas. So, and I think it was October 27, 2023. They sent this wasn't just that day, right? Many war crimes happened that day. But just in general, during the war, they sent suicide bombers, indiscriminate missile attacks on cities, as well as committing many war crimes. Now, Donald Trump, the president of the United States at the time, this would have been before this would have been before October 7th. But he tried making a two-state peace plan, but Palestine deemed it as one-sided, as it was giving too much land to Israel. So Israel, starts airstriking highly populated areas in Gaza, and Hamas is taking hostages to pressure Israel to free like around 4,500 prisoners that they have. And now Israel is killing more Palestinians than Israelites are dying, so it's kind of like, what's going on now? Now, I want to give you an analogy. So imagine you're kidnapped, and you're put into a van. You're not like, you can do things, obviously you have power, you don't have, you're not handcuffed, okay? You're free, basically. And the guy in the front, let's say it's like a glass window, you can't really kill him, okay? And he's driving you into a volcano or something, right? And it's like, well, I don't want to go there. So, you're gonna open the car door and obviously just jump out because you can't. It's unlocked. Now you land in an ant's nest. And now they're biting you because you're on their nest. And it's like, ow, ooh, yeah, ouch, it hurts, the ants. But obviously you're a big person, you're stepping on them and killing them. And obviously, they're like killing yourselves and whatnot, but shut up, right? But the thing is, where are they supposed to go? This is obviously, we could not tell, an analogy for the Jewish people who were going to get like where else are they supposed to go? Are they supposed to not be in Israel? Like, where are they supposed to go? The crematoriums? Like, do you like? Do people genuinely believe that it would be better if the Jews were all killed by the Nazis instead of put into like this into Israel? Like, you genuinely believe all Jews should be killed? Like, what else are they supposed to do? Like, where are they supposed to go? Like, it was either they died or they immigrated somewhere else. It's just like kind of British mandatory Palestine. They let the Jewish people in, so obviously they're gonna let them in. But then the British kind of doesn't own that anymore, and of course it's allied with the U.S. So they like $250 billion worth of military help. But it's still just like, it's people dying on both sides. I mean, like, they were put into like a hostile land, which like originally was not their own. And then like the native people are like, dude, get out of here, I'm gonna kill you. Even though technically, like the way the Jewish people, like they did technically come from there. But then they left and then they came back. So now what do we do about it? Now, there's three possible future scenarios. One, Hamas kills all the Jews, which will result in many casualties, obviously. The second scenario is Israel takes over all of Palestine, which would lead to many casualties. Who would have guessed? Taking over a country that doesn't want to be taken over. It's going to lead to casualties. Or third option, peace, a two-state solution, which would lead to no more casualties. Now, realistically, that's not going to happen. Realistically, Israel is going to win, just since they just have more power. I mean, I already told you they have, like, the U.S. military on their side, the world's most powerful military. Like, they're going to win. Like, it's just not funny. Like, if they wanted to, they could probably, like, tell the U.S. to send them, like, a couple nuclear bombs, and, that could help them out. It's probably way too much of a example. Like, they have more power, and it does not look like either side wants to stop. I'm pretty sure Israel's not gonna stop, because they believe, well, this is our land, the land of Israel, whatever God promised to Moses for their people to have something like that, right? And Hamas definitely won't stop, as like their whole mission as a terrorist organization, which, by the way, they can't have more elections, which is kind of the way it is. Their whole mission is to leave only Muslims in the land that they deem as their own, which is currently the state of Israel. So they both really think they're the good guys. Israel's like, we're the good guys, we're just defending ourselves. And Hamas is like, well, we're the good guys, we're defending ourselves, actually, yeah. It's their land. Right? But this obviously can't be true. They both can't be the good guys. This is ridiculous. You got two people killing each other, and you're like, oh, I'm the good guy. And if you're the other guy, oh, I'm the good guy, right? It's like, you're both, like, this can't be true. Like, there has to be like, I'm the good guy, this guy's a bad guy. I'm the good guy, this guy's a bad guy. It's like, that can't be true. That's just, you're contradicting each other. That's not how that works. And like, it's because like they're judging others, but not themselves. Like, you hypocrite. First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Okay, that is a quote from Matthew chapter 7, verse 5, Revised Standard Version, the Bible. Okay? Conflict stems from miscommunication and hypocrisy. So take responsibility in your own life. This is like, I know this video is originally about, like, something in, like, I'm assuming most of my viewers are probably in the United States of America, and Canada, like I already mentioned. Like, I'm currently talking about a war going on in the Middle East, and now I'm talking to you, telling you to not make, kind of mistakes that's vaguely related to what they did in your own life. Obviously, you're not killing, like, millions of people? I don't know how many are dying. Obviously, that's not going to happen in your life. But there will be suffering in your life. If you're a hypocrite, it's just the way it is. Like, we're all bad. This is something like, you must be humble and realize that we are all bad. No man is good, no, not one. It's Romans 3:23. We get there. The righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ for all who believe. For there is no distinction, since all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. That is Romans chapter 3, verse 22 through 23. I think the Romans chapter 3, verse 23 is very important. Since all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. It's a very important verse. That's really saying we're all the bad guys. It's about humility. It's about we've all done wrong. And we all fall short of what God wanted us to do. We've all disobeyed Him in some way. But then there's more. From the same chapter 3, same book, Romans chapter 3, verses 27 through 31. Then what becomes of our boasting? It is excluded. On what principle? On the principle of works? No, but on the principle of faith. We hold that a man is justified by faith, apart from works of law. Or is God the God of Jews only? Is He not the God of Gentiles also? Yes, Gentiles also, since God is one, and He would justify the circumcised on the ground of their faith, and the uncircumcised through their faith. Do we then overthrow the law by this faith? By no means. On the contrary, we uphold the law. And just for you if you don't know, Gentiles, it means anyone who isn't Jewish. That's what it is. This is in the New Testament, but this was kind of before. This was like when most Christians were ethnically Jewish. But there was also like Greek Christians at the time of his writing, and many other races. But there were Gentile Christians, right? And the Gentiles are basically anyone who's not like Jewish. It's just a term. It's like people excluding the Jews, excluding Jewish people. So basically, this would have been written before Muslim people existed. The Muslims would have debated that everyone is a Muslim, but this would have been before that kind of ethnic group, the Arabs, would have really existed. So they just said Jews, and then everyone else would be Gentiles. They said God is everyone's God, and these two people, they claim to be doing the work of God. They're following like I mentioned vaguely before, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That comes from Moses. That comes from what God told him to do. So these people, on both sides, following their religion, they both believe they're doing God's will. Now the other people, they're not, which obviously they're contradicting each other. They can't both be right if you're calling the other one wrong, right? Now, we've all fallen short of perfection, and it takes humility to realize this. So recognize your flaws and repent of these things. Become born again and uphold the law. Not just like actual laws, but also moral teachings. Like, I don't know, maybe, what's this one? I think it's something that the Jews are supposed to believe. It's, I'm pretty sure they don't get rid of it in the Quran. It's, what was it? It was, I think it was one of the 10? Let's see. Yeah, it would have been, you shall not kill, huh? Pretty sure that was in there. Pretty sure that was in the Torah. They must have forgotten about that verse, huh? And we are not the judge. We are not to judge who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. Right? Because, really, if you look deep enough, all of the good guys, they'll have flaws. Even like the most perfect person, you can find something about them if you dig deep enough. Every single person is bad. That's part of our sin nature. We're all bad people. It's just the way it is. And if you deny this reality, then you're lying to yourself probably. Or you're not looking far enough in yourself. Have you ever insulted someone? Have you ever been angry at someone? Have you ever robbed someone? Those are all bad things. Obviously not killing people, but still, we all have flaws. We all have, at least I've had addictions. I'm pretty sure, pretty sure everyone I've talked to has had some form of addiction. Unless I haven't asked that. Like, I've not met anyone who has claimed to never have an addiction. Ever. Now, I don't want to accuse people because Satan is the accuser. Or Shaitan. That's like what his name comes from, the accuser. Where he accuses people. Basically, his whole thing is to make people feel like they're unworthy of God's grace. And like, hey, you're nothing, you'll never feel the loss, you're nothing, you're nothing. Right? And then eventually people will just give up and it's like, well, I can't fulfill all 613 Mosaic laws. Okay? I guess I'm just a sinner, I'm gonna rot out, but YOLO, you only live once, so I'm just gonna make this life as good as like I physically can, I'm just gonna fill my life with as much like temporary pleasures as possible. And the moment that's taken away from me, I'm gonna like, I need it back. Alright, a lot of people are distracted in this world. They don't take the time to realize their own flaws and to repent. I just want to say, like I already said, I'm not one to judge. Like who's to judge the right from wrong? Not us, God. He's the one who judges righteously. And of course, like, we're supposed to also judge righteously He commands us to do this. However, we're not meant to hate as an enemy, but to warn as a brother. We're meant to merely parrot what God says. Really, we're just gonna say, hey, God kinda said if you do this, you're not. It's kinda sad. But like, I don't know, man, I just don't think God's gonna allow, people living under a certain lifestyle to go to heaven. It's just the way it is. If the revilers, they're not getting up there. The haters, they're not getting up there, bro. Just the way it is. So, God judges righteously, and He may forgive us and save us if we believe and sin no more. So, I mean, even if you don't believe in, like, sin, if you're an atheist or something, you don't believe in morality, then there's always going to be things in your life that are, like, making your life more miserable. Like, there's maybe, like, some addiction that's, like, ruining your life. Maybe, like, it's one game is, like, really competitive, and, like, you're addicted to it, like, you're really like, oh my god, it's so fun, but it's just so competitive, I can't take it anymore, I need help. Or, it's something like that, like, you should probably quit that. Like, in other, like, addictions of any kind that's, like, bringing you down, making you tired. Yeah. Making you down bad, just whatever, do that. Another thing you do is like, comment, and subscribe, some actionable steps right there. And keep growing.